Namaskar, a warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Manoj Singh Rana bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. The headlines. India condemns the terrorist attack in Nice. Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla says European solidarity is India's priority. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Washington stands for a free and open Indo-Pacific with ASEAN, cautions against Chinese aggression. USA seizes Iranian missiles to Yemen and Iranian oil bound to Venezuela. New Zealand votes in favor of legalizing euthanasia in a referendum. And Air India to operate first Vande Bharat mission flight to China's Wuhan today. India's Foreign Secretary, Mr. Harshvardhan Shringla, has condemned the terrorist attack in Nice on Wednesday. On a two-day visit to Paris, he conveyed solidarity with the people of France as they combat the pandemic. He was addressing the delegates as the Institut François d'Angleation Nationale, IFRI, on the topic India's foreign policy in a post-COVID world. Underlining the significance of multilateralism, he said India attaches great importance to Europe and France in the emergence of a multipolar world order. India and France are together in the initiative of Alliance for Multilateralism, the International Solar Alliance, the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, or CDRI, to promote a reform and strengthening of multilateral institutions. Mr. Shringla asserted that for India, European unity and solidarity is a priority. He said India and France are strong partners in the Indo-Pacific and are united in the vision of maintaining a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. He met the director of the French Director General for International Relations and Strategy, Ms. Alice Guiton, on Friday. In a tweet, Mr. Shringla said that he had a productive meeting with Ms. Guiton with discussions on the Indo-Pacific region and maritime security defense partnership and regional security cooperation. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo wound up his visit of Asia on Friday in Vietnam. In a tweet, Pompeo expressed pleasure at having met the Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister in Hanoi. He reaffirmed U.S. commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific with ASEAN at its heart. He further tweeted that the partnership is stronger than ever as we celebrate 25 years of diplomatic relations. Vietnam also shares concern about an increasing assertive China. While there was no public mention of China on Friday, Pompeo has urged Southeast Asian countries to stand up to China's bullying and to reassess business deals with its state firms. The United States on Thursday said that it had seized Iranian missiles shipped to Yemen and sold 1.1 million barrels of previously seized Iranian oil that was bound for Venezuela. This was the latest in the Trump administration's move to increase pressure on Tehran before the presidential elections on the 3rd of November in the U.S. The Justice Department's forfeiture civil cases involve alleged schemes by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, to secretly ship weapons to Yemen and fuel to Venezuela. Assistant Attorney General for the National Security Division, John Demers, said on Thursday that the U.S. government had sold and delivered 1.1 million barrels of Iranian fuel that had been destined for Venezuela, which it has seized earlier this year. Air India will operate its first Vande Bharat mission flight to China's Wuhan on Friday. India had started evacuating Indian citizens from Wuhan in January this year with the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The first flight is expected to carry about 280 passengers. Another Vande Bharat flight is expected to operate in the first week of November to Wuhan. India had evacuated its citizens by 3 flights in January during the onset of the pandemic. The Philippines has started to build its own militia sea forces in a move to counter Chinese claims in the South China Sea, or SCS. The unit, to be called as the CAFGU Active Auxiliary Service, CAAS, is a measure to protect the Philippines' interests in South China Sea adjacent waters, including its vast exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. In a recent address to the Senate, Philippine Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, in a reference to China, warns that the other side is using civilian militias, which are fishermen with big fishing boats, but actually are part of their navy. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. New Zealand has voted in favour of the End of Life Choice Act becoming law on Friday. In a voluntary euthanasia referendum, about 65.2% of population reportedly voted for legalising euthanasia for terminally ill patients. The new law will allow terminally ill people the opportunity to receive assisted dying upon the approval by 2 doctors. To get access to euthanasia, terminal patients with 6 or fewer months to live will have to be at least 18 years old and be a permanent New Zealand resident or citizen. The government of Bangladesh has launched a mega scheme to dredge 10,000 kilometers of riverways in the country to improve inland river navigability. State Minister for Shipping Khalid Mahmood Chaudhary will inaugurate the dredging work of the old Brahmaputra River in the Shepur district tomorrow. The shipping minister said that the purpose of the dredging work is to ensure round-the-year movement of goods and passenger vessels safely. It will also help the agriculture and fisheries sector by improving water flow in the rivers, he added. The project is scheduled to be completed by June 2024. Earlier in February, the minister had told Parliament that the excavation of 470-kilometer river routes under the Bangladesh-India River Protocol had already begun. It will be jointly financed by the 2 countries. Now let's take a look at the coronavirus updates. According to the WHO data, the number of infected cases has crossed 44.59 million worldwide. South Korean Prime Minister Chung Se-kyun has asked the government to ramp up counter-coronavirus efforts for the upcoming Halloween celebrations. Meanwhile, in India, the recovery rate among the COVID-19 patients has improved to 91.15%. India's case fatality rate is at 1.50%, which is one of the lowest globally. Poland is witnessing large-scale protests after a court ruling further limited the country's abortion laws. Thousands have taken to the streets in cities and towns across the country since the ruling was announced on October the 22nd. The protest is gathering momentum in cities around the world, with pro-choice protesters expressing solidarity with the Polish. After the ruling goes into effect, abortion will be banned in the case of fetal abnormalities. It will be legal only in a very restrictive set of cases, including rape or a threat to the woman's health. India on Friday successfully tested its long-range supersonic cruise missile, BrahMos. In a significant accomplishment, the DRDO developed BrahMos was launched from a Sukhoi 30 from an Indian Air Force airbase at Halwara to successfully hit a ship in the Bay of Bengal. Press Secretary for Kremlin Dmitry Peskov on Friday said that peacekeepers can only enter Karabakh if both Azerbaijan and Armenia give their consent. Last week, Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan expressed the belief that Russian peacekeepers could help resolve the crisis and also called on the United States and France to support Russia's peace effort. The statement comes as the conflict escalates in Nagorno-Karabakh. Azeri Education Minister on Friday confirmed that 9 Azerbaijani school children have died since the outbreak of hostilities between Yerevan and Baku. Moving on to sports, in tennis, Grigor Dimitrov of Bulgaria defeated Greek Stefanos Tsitsipas to reach the quarterfinals of the Erste Bank Open in Vienna, Austria. In football, Liverpool defender Virgil van Dijk underwent a successful knee surgery, said the club on Friday. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to Vaishnav Jan by artists from Israel. And with that, we end this bulletin. See you at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.